I'm the Hooded Lid and welcome to my channel. Good news. Good news. I finally got my Sephora order, and one of the things that I got is something I want to try today. It is the Pat McGrath Labs Concealer. This is the packaging. Normally I don't talk about packaging, but this one is so cute. It's like this, reminiscent of the foundation with this kind of like cigarette case thing. I think it's cute. And this is what the component looks like. This is actually glass, it's not plastic, and it looks, a lot like every other concealer that I have. Not every other, but, aside from being glass, it's pretty much SOP, standard operating procedure. It appears to have less product than some of my others, but looks can be deceiving. We will look that up soon, but first let's get into their claims. This is a creamy, lightweight, full coverage concealer with a natural, radiant dash matte finish that brightens under the eye and hides the appearance of blemishes. All right, nothing crazy here, no nuts claims. But then, you get down to what else you need to know, and then we get into the marketing stuff that just bugs me, you guys. This concealer is formulated with the Vitaserum complex. No such thing. It doesn't exist. It's nothing. This is just a term that they made up. And they may consider it the alchemy, if you will, of putting together common ingredients in a certain fashion, a certain ratio, or even a molecular structure. So let's continue. This concealer is formulated with the Vitaserum complex to moisturize and help fight the appearance of wrinkles, and optically diffusing pigments to help unveil a stunning soft focus effect that blurs imperfections without settling into fine lines. The flexible, breathable formulation blends with Sublime Perfection Foundation, sold separately, for all-day wear. So they're saying long wear, doesn't dry, diffuses. Now, they said the same thing about the powder being a diffuser of sorts, and I didn't find the powder to be remarkable in any way. I didn't find it to be different than anything else that I had. So let's see how this works. What I'm looking for is good coverage. I've got a lot going on here. I am wearing my foundation, but I tried my best not to get it under my eyes. I want something that doesn't make me look older, doesn't suck the life out of my skin. So the minute I put it on, it just creases, not because it's creasing, falling into the creases, but because it's sucking all the life out of my eyes. And I'd like it not to crease. Now, the reason I bought this came out a while ago, and I saw two people I follow had reviewed it. Alicia at Kinky Sweat, who I adore. I trust, I believe she is honest, but I would be remiss not to mention that I believe Alicia has a big fat girl crush on Miss McGrath, and she tends to like her stuff a lot. I'm not saying Pat McGrath stuff isn't likable. I'm just saying that when it comes to Pat McGrath, I have to take what Alicia says with consideration. That, she has great admiration for her, and I think that might color her reviews a teeny bit. Maybe. She's also, Alicia's much, much younger than me, so she doesn't have the same concerns I do. And then recently, Andrea Ali, who is a professional makeup artist, so she works with different skin tones and different skin types than her own, she really liked it, but that was sponsored. At the same time, I have to believe that people who are doing sponsored videos know that their most important currency is trust. And if they don't tell the truth, they will soon lose followers, and people won't believe them when they're doing something sponsored. And I think Andrea's smart enough to know that. I don't think that she would lie or stretch the truth. However, after I purchased this, I did see another review that said this is like Shape Tape, and I thought, oh, this could be a big problem for me. Because Shape Tape dried me up. It took any moisture, any surface moisture from my skin straight out, and it aged me immediately. So that's what I'm looking for. Let's get into it. First, I want to do some swatches with a couple of other things that I have. And I think this is really helpful all the time, but especially now that we're not leaving our homes, we can't see these colors in person. It's really, really important to have an idea So I'm just going to swatch next to a couple of other things I have. So I got the Pat McGrath in LM9. That's supposed to be light, medium, pink, neutral. I have the N1 in the Flawless Fusion from Laura Mercier, and the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric in Pat McGrath in the middle, Laura Mercier, and Giorgio Armani. Now the Giorgio Armani I wore for some time, and then it started looking really yellow on me. And I thought it could be that it's getting old, but it also could be that my skin tone is changing as the weather changes and suddenly didn't work anymore, and that's when I got the Laura Mercier. The Laura Mercier is a little bit too light for me, but the next color, their colors are weird. So I got one that was a little too light, but as you can see, it's quite neutral. Pat McGrath in the middle. So this is what they look like wet, and we will come to them a little bit later on and see what they look like dry, because there could be dry down. Why wouldn't there be? I'm going to move you in. I think my foundation is looking really yellow today. Today, by the way, I am wearing the Makeup Forever Reboot in Y315. I bought this in Y315 even though the 255 was perfect for me, because I figured I'd be getting darker as the year goes on, even though I wear sunscreen. And I had been mixing it with the Chanel LeBlanc because it was a little too dark. And the past 2 days I've been wearing it without the Chanel LeBlanc because the days are longer. Even though I'm wearing sunscreen, I'm more exposed to light. I do take my dog out for sometimes very long walks. I'm getting some color, but I don't know. The other day I thought this was super yellow. I don't have her brush, although it looks really interesting, but I do have this brush from Real Technique. Little here, little here. One thing everybody says is a little goes a long way. I'm just going to work this in with the brush, or put it where I want it with the brush. And then I guess I'll work it in with my finger. You could just warm up your fingers by rubbing them together. This is nice. This is working. I'm going to give this a 3-day wear test, you guys. This isn't just a one and done, because concealer is tough, especially when you're older, or if you have dry skin, or if you have really dark circles. There's so many things that can ail us that make concealer such an important element to our makeup routine. It seems that the coverage is decent. It did not give me the effect that the Tarte Shape Tape does, where it just sucks the life out of my eyes. So that's good. I am going to be playing with shadows later on today, so I'm going to use this as a base, and we'll see how that works. A little does go a long way. Confirm. To me, this feels a lot like the Flawless Fusion. Words are different words to different people. Creamy to me means something different than tacky. And this has a slightly tacky feeling to it, although they're calling it creamy. And that feeling is very similar to the feeling I have with the Laura Mercier, where I feel that the Power Fabric is a little more liquidy to creamy. And it looks like we got a little bit of creasing going on right here on these vertical lines that are getting really bad on me. I don't want to powder. I think today will be powder free, because I find the things that have a little bit of tackiness to them can sometimes be made darker when I put powder on them. And I also find that they don't move around that much because they do have that slightly tackiness about them, where something a little more creamy or liquidy might not adhere and does need a little bit of powder. I'm just, taking it out for a ride, and tomorrow we'll do a different method. So Pat McGrath is $32 for 0.16 ounce. Let's see how that compares. Okay, the Laura Mercier is $29 for 0.23 ounces. So more product, less price. And the Armani is $34 for 0.2 ounces. So all of these have more. The Armani is a little bit more, it's $2 more. So I would say it's probably on par with Armani when it comes to costs. Just for kicks, just for giggles. I think for most of us, we'll be willing to pay an extra price for something that actually works and does what we need, especially when we have issues like darkness, crepiness, stuff. And let's take a look at what the swatches look like close up now. It's very cloudy today, so I have a ring light on and I have my umbrella lights on and a backlight on just to get some light. I'm not able to present this in a natural lighting setting, which is what I prefer, because you can really get a good idea. But if you know these other products, just having them side by side can probably be helpful to you. In the middle is the Pat McGrath. This is the Laura Mercier in N1, and this is the Giorgio Armani in 5. And the Pat, again, is LM9, which is supposed to be pink neutral. It does not look pink to me. I'll just move these around a little bit. In depth of tone, it seems very similar to the Power Fabric 5. In undertone, it almost makes the Giorgio Armani look peach in tone to me, whereas I was feeling that it was looking yellow a couple of months ago. And you know what? The Pat McGrath does look darker than the Giorgio Armani. Now, I don't need to have a lot of lightness, so it's okay for me. And I feel like, and again, lighting provided, right? I feel like it's okay with this foundation. Hopefully tomorrow, when I try this again, maybe there'll be some sun and we can get a better idea of the color. And let's see. It's creased already. So I have a very deep trough right here. And not everything that I use creases right there, but some things. You saw I didn't use a lot of product. So I'm just going to work these areas now that this is probably set under the eyes. The eyeballs not so much, it still feels a little tacky. I'm just going to take a little bit of Laura Mercier. I'm not powdering under, but I do want to powder my lids. I will either come back later on today to give you a progress report, or tomorrow when I reapply, and maybe in a different fashion. Chances are good it will be. I'll let you know what happened today. Okay, I'm back for day 2. This is, I think, a little too dark. I went online and looked at some other colors, and this is a light medium. My impression is I need to go over to the light. Now this is supposed to have a pink undertone, but I don't really see it that way. It doesn't really read pink to me. So if I'm going to change this out for color, I think it's something I want to do in store. But today I'm wearing a different foundation. I am wearing the Air Nude by Dior in shade 20. I'm almost done with this, and I have to get another one. It works so well for me in summer, and it's so light. So in summer, if you just don't want something heavy on your skin, but you want some coverage, I think that's really decent coverage. And nobody talks about that. All right, let's go in with the Pat. Yesterday I did not powder, and we saw that it creased in my trough pretty quickly, and that's fine. I mean, it's not something I want, but it happens. I'm going to do the brush application again, just because this is smaller than my finger, so I can get it where I want it to be. I did feel, when I put this on yesterday, I thought, wow, the coverage is quite nice. But I think that coverage that I enjoyed in the beginning faded pretty quickly. But it's hard to tell because there's actual darkness of the skin, but when you have puffiness, that causes a shadow, and then you have a deep trough, which also causes a shadow. So it's just hard to say. I did not find it to be drying at all, so that's great. And now with the fingers again. You know what? Let's try something different. I didn't want to do something different for blending this in, because I'm going to try something different for my finish. I didn't finish it yesterday, and I don't feel like it needed a finish. I primarily finish things under the eye because they're too shiny, and I don't want shininess under my eyes. I don't want to call attention. You know, when something's shiny, you look at it. I don't want to look at my puffy eyes. I want those to kind of go away. So that blends in fine. Now I'm going to go in with some powder. I'm going to go in with a beauty blender and powder on one side, which is kind of a heavy application, and we'll see what happens. And then on the other side, I think I'm just going to do a brush. Usually, when I apply like this, I aged 40 years. I didn't age 40 years. Let me move even closer. I didn't even realize because I'm so blind. I should be closer. That looks nice. We'll give it a few minutes to age me, but so far, I don't think it is. And then I'm going to go in with my Wingos airbrush. Creasing already. Again, creasing in the trough. I don't use powder to stop creasing because I expect it in the trough. It's just too deep not to. I think, actually, I don't see a difference from one side to the other. But while I'm here, let's just do my cheeks. From, a foot, not like 2 feet where my mirror is, I don't see a significant difference. And I'm pleased. This is going to shock me so much, you guys, if I love this, because when I saw people reviewing it when it first came out, I thought, I don't know. I don't remember why, but I remember that was my overwhelming thought was, I'm not going to be tricked by you, Mr. Concealer, because I'm the one who's like, oh, this concealer is going to do it for me, and nothing really does. But I was interested in the powder. And for me, the powder was eh. And the concealer might actually work. That's interesting. So it's pretty early, you guys. It's not even 9 yet. So I hope I can come back maybe around 2 before it gets too dark in this room and give you an idea of what's going on. But yesterday I went for a long hike in the heat. Well, it wasn't that long. It was like an hour-long hike in the sun. I'm pretty sure I got a mask tan. Like just my forehead got color. And when I checked it, 7 o'clock at night or so, it was holding up fine. Did it look like it was freshly applied? No. But did it look like a nightmare? No. All right. Back later. All right, today is day 3, testing the Pat McGrath concealer. I have to say, yesterday you saw that it creased in the trough right away, and I went ahead and powdered it. However, that didn't really stop the creasing from happening. It wasn't egregiously bad, but it continued, and throughout the day I would just very lightly dab my finger there to try to mix it all in. And I also felt that I did an eye look yesterday, and when I put it into the computer I thought the under eyes didn't look so hot. It looked a teeny bit drying. Today I used the Reboot again, but I did put a little bit LeBlanc to get it a little bit better for my skin tone, and we'll see how this works. Now the application with that little brush of mine from, not Echo Tools, but the other brand, worked fine, but I'm going to try it with the fingers. Okay, I don't like it with a finger, so let's go in with the Beauty Blender. It just kind of picks it up with the finger and redeposits it. It looks nice though. There's nothing wrong with the look. Let me move you in and let me smash into my table really hard. Okay. I still have some darkness right here I'd like to take care of, and I think I just rubbed off some foundation. So let's do a little nose. Let's use this on the face to work on red bits and areas that don't hold foundation. And my cheeks are looking pretty red. Oh, and let's do right here. The Reboot is just not a full coverage foundation. So, would this be something to use if I want that sheerness all over my face with some extra coverage around my red bits? Although probably not with this color because it's looking really yellow. I will say it looks beautiful on the skin and the coverage is very good. So for the skin, it might be a little bit better than under the eyes for me. Still, I'm not 100% sure of the color. I'm just wondering, if this is a pink undertone, pink neutral, what do their yellows look like? Because this to me is coming off pretty yellow. Now I do want to do a little bit of powdering, so I'm going to get my by Terry. Last couple of videos I noticed that I could probably use a powder. I haven't been using powder lately, but on camera it can look a little iffy. But before I do that, I'm going to just put on a little bit of this bronzer by Tarte. This is in the color Seashells, or Seychelles, not seashells. And it certainly helps to neutralize that overly yellow of the pat on my face. All right, now I'm going to do a little bit of powder. It just looks really nice initially, really nice on the face. Already creased. I'm just touching that a little bit with this brush. It's so much more precise than my finger could ever be, and more precise than a beauty blender. I think I'll try going in with the powder with this instead of my usual brush. So far I will say that it looks really, really nice on the skin to me as far as the texture goes. And the coverage is very, very nice, both under the eye and the redness on the face. It's a matter of the color and it's a matter of the creasing under the eyes. I am going to try to check in. So that would give us about 5 hours of wear, and I'll be back. All right, you guys, I'm back. It is 2 o'clock. So I've had this on for 4 hours, 4.5 hours. Let's take a look. I did look earlier and I did see some creasing. So there's creasing right in here. And there's a little bit, my skin oils, or my moisturizer, let's be real. There's a little glow, which I'm not bothered by. There's a little separation. Let me pull you in. So, right through here, there's a little separation. And right here, a little bit of creasing. It did crease again there, so you saw, as I was putting on the makeup, it creased within a few minutes. Not 15-20 minutes after that, I took a look at a 13X mirror, and it had done it again. Right now, it's separated, but it doesn't have that shiny separation, and this is the trough. So that is a hard area. I'm kind of torn on this. Is it a miracle? Am I like so excited to have discovered this? No, I don't feel that way. But is it bad? No, it's not bad. It's not perfect. Perfect is a very high bar. I'd say the thing that is bothering me the most is the color. It looks a little yellow to me, even though this is supposed to be pink. It doesn't look pink here. It doesn't look pink on my hand. And it sure doesn't look pink under my eyes. So I feel like I definitely need to go up to light. And then I don't know what, because they have neutral, they have pink. I think this is something that I'm going to have to see in person. And that could be months from now, really. You know what I mean? On the face, there's no problem. It's good coverage. It hasn't broken up. Well, I have my sunglasses on, so I do have some rub off, but what doesn't rub off? My chin, I see some redness. I don't see this breaking up, but I do see that my chin redness is peeking through. It feels very comfortable. It doesn't feel drying, and that's a good thing. They're not saying it's moisturizing, but it's not drying. I think it's worth checking out if you can get a color match. That's how I'll leave it. I'm kind of on the fence, so I think I'm gonna send this back and wait for the stores to open. So, those are my conclusions. I hope that this was helpful to you when you're making decisions. I think right now, more than ever, us YouTubers are kind of providing a service even more than we had in the past, especially if we can accurately capture the colors of the products that we're talking about. And I hope that I have been able to here, because I really try to use mostly natural light. Yellow. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Be safe and smart, and until we meet again, I am wishing you great health.